right, welcome back to D&D. So, last time, you had managed to talk with Sithar and have managed to get a little bit more of her backstory. Found out that she was the daughter of merchants who were killed by pirates, and she fell into crime because of that. With no other way to make money. And now she, through a variety of good checks, good RP, is working with you.
Yay.
You were then given the
new employees.
yes, redemption arc / new employees. You then, having heard about a character who is named the Shaper, have decided to venture further into the Underdark in order to actually confront and hopefully defeat the Shaper, at least according to your initial plan.
We have the best ideas.
It's her field test.
Yeah.
And also part of her parole.
Yes, her unilateral parole decided by the crossblades.
But you're gonna get her redemption arc's gonna be complete. You're gonna put her in charge of Jimmy and Jackson. We're gonna have a pirate fleet to rival anything in the world. And you're gonna be like, where did I go wrong, and where did this big bad evil come from again?
I do have to make sure that she knows about Jackson and Jimmy, just in case there's some sort of real deep hatred towards pirates.
Honestly, if I was crueler, I would have you guys succeed, get back to the surface, and she still gets executed.
I was gonna say that was the black comedy outcome, is like we go through this journey of healing and growth, and she's ready to take responsibility for her past wrongs, and then just smash cut to the end.
You can keep the head, though.
Oh, good.
All right, trophy.
But yes, so you are traveling further into the Underdark. Along the way, you managed to speak with someone who introduced herself as Anne Kind, that Otto was able to realize was a fiend using his senses, his divine sense, and of course she admitted to it. Told you that she was willing to trade for information in exchange for other information, or for magic items, or for favor. But ultimately, you decided not to take up her offer at the time. You then continued on and arrived at a small way station on a massive underground road. So, we pick up there. You are at a abandoned way station that you can tell is sitting along a large road that is heading to what you were told was a drow city.
How long abandoned does it look like? And are there any maps or records around that we could look through?
Yeah, make an investigation check.
I will make an investigation.
I'll help him.
Okay.
I will make it with advantage. Oh. Where did my Roll20 go? There it is. Where did my character sheet go? There it is. Roll20, why you gotta be like that?
The hamsters, they're spinning.
There we go.
Alright. Looking inside, you would say this station has probably been abandoned maybe a few months ago. Has a layer of dust, plenty of spider webs. Looks like some creatures, small animals, have been using it for shelter. You do see, rifling through some of the stone furniture, that there are in fact some old maps. They are just kind of left in the drawer there. It does show a network of roads underground. There is some writing on it. Does anybody speak Undercommon?
I don't believe so.
I
don't think so.
Somebody did, I thought. No, maybe not.
It was probably Chungus.
Okay.
No track.
Yep, you're not able to make out the writing then.
Does anybody have comprehend language? I know Lucian did. I don't know if anybody else did.
Yeah, let me take a quick gander. Don't think so. Does Sathara, by chance? I'm guessing no, but
She shrugs. Sorry.
I
Common and
speak,
Elvish.
I speak Goblin. Could I make out any words or anything?
Yeah, you do
Yeah.
along the edge notice a little bit of Goblin script. Mostly it looks to be the name of various villages that are off the main path of the this network of roads. You do see a few marks on the map, however. You see a red X on one of the roads by a little it's a little dot, and then you see close by to that a kind of large square that is leading away from it, as well as numerous these roads kind of look like a spider web almost in the way that they like intersect and connect with each other.
What is at the quote-unquote center of the web? Is it like this way station, or like maybe that big Drow city?
You're not sure, actually.
I would assume it's a Drow city if all roads lead to Rome kind of thing.
Yeah, Graham is trying to logic out, like, if there's a network of roads and there's a central point on them, that's probably the biggest either trade hub or population center.
Yeah,
or
I
both.
would agree with Graham.
You could make a
I mean, if you
make another investigation roll.
I will.
Because I would you could also kind of reference it on
Nice.
the map we have with Tolva and like Baxfall. All the roads lead there.
Okay. Looking at it, you suspect that the red X is most likely marking off your current location.
Yeah.
The square is similar to a number of other squares along the map itself. You would suspect those to be maybe population centers, cities, and the like. At the center itself, it doesn't really look like there's anything important. It looks more like probably each of these squares has roads spreading off of it and connecting with the roads from other
Okay.
squares.
So it doesn't look like they all came from a central source.
No, so rather than all roads spreading out from a source, it looks like they more just created their own individual ones that connected with each other at a point.
Okay. Are there any signs of fighting in the area after the investigation check? Like, can I tell why this place was abandoned? If it was done in a hurry or semi-orderly or what?
It's make another investigation roll.
I'll assist.
Thank you. Go gadget advantage.
This way station looks like it was probably abandoned in somewhat of a hurry because you do find a number of maps that had been left behind. The violence you don't believe has occurred. You don't see any remains of like arrows, blood, any damage done to the actual site itself by weapons or magic.
Hey,
Those
you
sounds
still
of fight.
Like something was coming and they ran away before I got here.
You said they left maps?
Yep, you found the one map that you discovered. You find a number of other maps that would be some. One looks like it might be like a small town or village. Another one looks to be possibly topography.
Interrogate the maps. Tell me the truth, maps.
You read.
The maps are resistant. They refuse to talk.
Okay, all right. I'll come up with another tactic here.
Yeah, unless you read. I think unless you understand Undercommon.
I do not. Only regular common.
I speak
Halfling
mainstream.
related to Undercommon? Also, I'm not sure if
Um,
I could read. No, I could probably read.
It
So
does
many force
not.
things to do other clever stuff.
The Jason Statham test.
It does not appear to be written in any language that you can determine, Fiffle.
Okay. This is written in some kind of crazy talk, guys. I don't know what this is a map of. It's not familiar to me.
Well, we'll take them with us, and if we're down here long enough, knock wood, I can either maybe find a friendly ghost and ask them, or maybe I can ask for a little divine intervention and pick up some magic reading that way. For now, I guess we can hold on to this and keep on going.
Okay.
So Graham will take the map. And I
Take
will
the
add that
map.
to my sheet real quick.
All right.
Common Underdark map.
Graham is now attached to a ghost.
The ghost of a Wikipedia page.
All right. So you're at this abandoned way station. You have a map. What would you all like to do?
We got our long rest in last time, thank goodness.
Yep.
This is kind of just a fresh quote-unquote morning. Not that we're probably sure what time of day it is. We've been
Oh.
underground so long.
So, so we did conclude that the center of the map, right, is where there would be a big city.
The center itself, you don't see anything that would indicate you don't see any of the squares that Graham suspects is population center. There are numerous squares on the map itself, including one that's somewhat close to your current location.
Why don't we head
But
back?
the center, yeah,
the middle of the map.
the center has nothing per se. It just more looks like a conflux of roads.
Let's check that out.
Let's check the nearest one out. It's be a way that they don't want to show where the city is.
Okay. So you're going to head to the...
The nearest square.
Okay. Well, you have a rather large road ahead of you. The road itself, you looked to be... I mean, down here there's nothing but, like, open space in this massive cavern you're in. So the road itself probably stretches a good 50 feet across.
Neat.
And then across every few hundred feet, there are massive pillars that stretch up into the sky, per se, before reaching the top of the cavern. The road itself, very dark. Anybody with dark vision, of course, can see. And Graham, with his candle, I imagine, would also have at least a little bit of light.
I think I'm down the candle, but I've got the glowing longsword.
Ah, of course. Graham has the longsword out.
Rip candle.
I can see, obviously.
Kaido, well drunk. Kaido has crawled atop Charlie
Oh boy.
and has seemed to have passed out.
Shouldn't he do a drunk animal check?
Charlie seems to not strictly mind the weight.
Charlie's okay with this?
Charlie gives a gentle boom.
All right. You've come a long way, Charlie. Let's talk
Suddenly,
about that.
and suddenly, a rogue wizard comes by and turns into a pug and leaves.
Not like this. How then?
Rogue Wizard turns Kaido into Pug and leaves. Story of a time. No, I would never do that while Rami's away.
There you go.
Okay.
You want him to suffer.
Your punishment must be more severe.
Gets back.
So you have the long road ahead. Do you progress down it towards the city?
Yep.
All right.
Keep our
Well-
eyes open.
No survival check needed. You have a map. You have a road. Doesn't take a lot of time and effort to realize which way to go.
We have dark vision.
You continue down this road. Checking the map, it seems like the area you're on is probably a less used road, as it seems to be more towards probably like the edge of the map in an area that only really connects to this one single square, where you notice other dots seem to connect to multiple different squares.
Makes sense. Probably best we stick to the sidelines anyway.
As you're traveling down a road, give me a perception check.
Everybody?
Yep. And I will do one for Sathara.
Yeah, I perceive stuff all the time. Oops. What's selected? Oh, advantage is selected. Well, here. Use any of those dice rolls.
We'll just go with a 13. Uh,
13?
Fiffle, you don't... Oh, yeah, Fiffle's initial
it's
one.
Fiffle's.
Before it was... Fiffle rolled at advantage, but it was a 13 and 24. But the first one would have been the 13. So Fiffle, you don't really hear anything. Sathara doesn't hear anything. Graham, Otto, you feel like you hear something echoing down a tunnel. And Fern, with those long, tall rabbit ears, you definitely make out the sound of people yelling for help.
Uh-oh.
Guys, there's some people yelling for help.
Let's keep our eyes open. It might be a trap, but let's go.
Could be.
Fern, the shouts seem to be coming from a small tunnel off of this main road, as you can see past the columns.
I'll point out the small tunnel to everyone and say I think they're coming from that way.
Let's go.
Alright, let's go.
All right. Travel down the tunnel. Doesn't twists a little bit, turns a small amount. You eventually find yourself looking at a kind of a perch over a massive chasm. There is a wooden it's a wooden bridge going over it with a bit of like rail on it going across, and the bridge itself has partially fallen in, and you can see on the other side of the bridge you see a group of gnomes, very kind of like gray colored versus like what you'd expect to see for a gnome. On the bridge itself, a minecart is dangling over, and another gnome is on the cart trying to maintain his grip on it over this like cavern. And you can just hear in a gnomish tongue, well, just them yelling, "Help! Help us!"
This is how you died.
Yeah, let's see if we can help. Unfortunately, our guy with the flying boots is drunk on the ostrich.
Is that the name of the wine? The ostrich?
Yeah.
Drunk on the ostrich. That's the name of the wine.
It's Viderheim's Hair of the Dog. So, the chasm you're on, or the chasm that it's the bridge is on, you can see that the rail and the bridge itself does touch the section of perch you are on. So if you would like, you can actually go onto the bridge itself. Doesn't take a lot to see that the bridge looks pretty rickety.
Just looking at my options, which are...
Do Kaido's boots require attunement?
Yeah. Otherwise, we would absolutely run him for his foams. None of these are gonna help, unfortunately. Who is lightest? Maybe Fern could like run out there, Fern or Fiffle, with a rope.
We'll give you a doobie.
Uh,
I could try that.
I mean, you can hold the rope. We hold the other half.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. Let's try that. And while we're doing that, I'm also going to take a look around. I'm not sure if it would be perception or investigation to see if this is like a setup.
Okay. Make an investigation roll, Graham.
Damn it.
Difficult to tell. I mean, the bridge does look like it's fallen in. That's obvious. Whether it is meant to be a trap or a setup, you're not sure.
Damn. All right. Graham will help with holding the other side of the rope.
Okay. Fern, you step on the bridge.
Yep.
Fern, you're small, you're light. You step on the bridge. You can hear the wood groan as your weight goes onto it, but the bridge remains standing.
Okay.
The gnome clinging to the minecart is about 60 feet from you.
Good lord.
All right. I'll try to get to him with the rope.
All right. As you make your way across,
Downtown.
you get about 30 feet. Can you give me a deck save, please? Fern, as you're making your way across, you feel the section of bridge you're on begin to sag. You look down and you see one of the wooden beams holding the bridge together kind of splinter, and you jump, and the section of bridge that you're on falls in,
Uh-oh.
leaving about a 10-foot gap.
Oh, this is exciting.
You hear the gnomes on the other side of the bridge just go,
That was close.
but you are able to stay. Of course, you're still now have a small gap in between you and your friends, but the remainder of the bridge is, mostly intact from you to the actual gnome himself.
Right. I'll continue on towards the gnome.
As you continue on towards the gnome, you find him clinging to the minecart. The minecart has, as the bridge has begun to sag in, the minecart has tilted over to the right. The gnome looks to have lost his balance and is attempting to, get himself in. Every time he moves his body, though, the minecart kind of sags a little more. So he's, seems like he's in a bit of a stuck position.
So I've reached him now in the cart?
You are physically able to touch the minecart, yes.
Okay, can I
I'll
grab the gnome?
I'll,
Can I help him out?
how close is that gap, distance wise?
From you, it is about 30 feet.
Okay.
Fern is another 30 feet from the rest of you.
Right in the middle. Okay.
Yeah. You go to grab the gnome?
Yeah. I'll be like, here, I'm gonna help you.
Wait,
Grab this-
it's... Actually, he screams in a number of languages before he lands on common. It's gonna tip!
Okay, we'll get out.
I can't! It's dipping!
It's what? Well,
It's dipping!
grab my hand.
Grab my hand.
He jumps. Fern, give me an athletics check, please, to grab
boy.
and hold him.
Nice.
He grabs your hand. It's slick with sweat and dust from the mine, but you are able to grab and hold on. And you're able to maintain your footing, so now he is dangling from you, and you are still on the bridge itself, you can see the minecart begin to sag in a little more.
Question: Does she still has the rope, right?
She has the rope, yes.
And we're holding the rope.
Yes.
Eh,
What's up?
I'm thinking.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't know if you got cut off or not.
No, I'm thinking.
You hear the gnome Fern go, "Wait, the ore! Save the ore!
No.
It's for our village.
Well, if I save the ore, then you're gonna die.
You could save me and the ore. It's only a few 100 pounds.
I can't carry that.
Just pull me up. We'll tie the rope to it, and then we just pull it back a bit, eh?"
Do you see? Do you
There's a
see this
big-
bridge? There's a big hole that's 10 feet across. It's not gonna make it.
As long as it doesn't sag, we can we can build the bridge again, and then we'll bring it back up. Just pull me up.
I
Let the ore go.
I'll pull him up.
Can you make
Tell
him
him
drop the
to-
ore somehow?
Can we?
The ore is in the
minecart.
mine cart.
Okay.
I can't carry a whole mine cart.
Somebody wasn't drunk on the floor on fucking.
Do we have an additional length of rope?
I believe most of you have at least 30 feet of rope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just checking my items. Graham can mage hand another rope out, like by one end, 30 feet.
Oh
So-
yeah, I have mage hand too. That's what I was like asking about the hole.
Yeah, mage hand can't carry a lot of weight by itself, but we could float a rope over.
Yeah.
And hypothetically, if it's stable enough, you could tie the minecart thing after you make sure nobody dies.
Okay. So
So
we're
you're
yelling this
live
across a
first.
cavern to
Yeah.
each other.
Also, Fern, you have
Graham-
yet to
Graham
pull
will
this
start-
guy up, so you're still holding
Yes, I
him.
pulled him up. I said I pulled him up.
Oh, okay.
And tell him to hold on to the rope that I am also holding on to.
You pull him up onto the bridge. He just kind of grabs the rope very tightly, wraps it around his waist, and ties it.
Okay, don't move a lot. We're gonna try to save some of your ore with the ropes.
Okay.
So
So
the
you're
rope is- I just wanna make
floating.
sure.
Okay, so you're gonna be floating the rope 30 feet across to the gap towards where Fern is.
Yeah. Is the whole bridge looking ready to collapse, or is it just like one rotted out section?
Make
Like,
a
it looked like the
perception
beginning
check.
Of it might. Sorry, say again.
Oh, I'm sorry. Make a perception check. And, Graham, you're not sure. The center
make one as well.
looks like it's
Can't
more
you use
shored
mending
up.
on the bridge, dude.
No, it is too big for that.
I mean, in a specific section of the bridge.
You could theoretically add a time, but you would need the actual pieces of the bridge, which have fallen into the chasm.
It's also something I have to literally touch it to do.
Yeah.
How, like, well, how, in terms of mending, what kind of leeway do we have here in terms of?
So you need the broken pieces because you put the two broken pieces back together to
Right.
fix it.
But in this case, the section that's near us, like that part of the bridge, is still quote unquote together. Can he reinforce it with mending so that it's a little bit more stable?
Could certainly try. For the pieces that haven't fallen into the chasm, you
It,
could.
it takes a minute per casting is the other problem.
Okay.
I mean, Graham, you could definitely see that the section around where the bridge collapsed when Fern was crossing, there are pieces of wood that have broken and splintered that are about 5 feet down. If you were to climb down, you could attempt to mend them a minute at a time.
Could I mage hand them up to reduce the risk on that?
You wouldn't be able to do it via mage hand, as these are basically long wooden beams that are going down deep into this chasm. You would need to, unless you can cast a spell through your mage hand or cast mending at a distance, you would need to actually physically go down to touch them.
Okay. Let's continue to call that the next step and just focus on getting the gnome to safety first, and then we can evaluate.
Yeah, let's get gnome boy. Oh.
All right.
Okay. I could stay here and hold the rope, and he can like climb across the hole. Would
I
that work?
can mage hand a rope over to him so we can tie them together. We can make a longer one.
Well, he's tied the end of this rope to his waist, I think, already.
Yeah. So let's just start by getting him back over.
Okay.
Can I have him untie it from his waist, and I'll hold it while he climbs across the 10-foot hole?
But what if I fall?
How are you gonna get across like that?
Well, I could tie the rope to the other end to the rope to this bridge, and then if I fall, I won't fall.
What if the bridge falls?
You're gonna take the bridge with you.
Yeah, bridge looking pretty bad.
Fern, make a persuasion check. As this gnome contemplates his options. Your words have reached him, however, and he undoes the rope from his waist and hands it back to you.
Okay, I'm gonna hold this. You climb across to my friends.
You're strong enough to hold the rope while I climb across?
Am I?
Are you?
Look, give him the rope. I can mage hand the rope to me and bring it back to myself, and then he's got somebody on the other side to drag him over.
So, I believe your rope your rope is what, 60 or 30 feet long?
I think it comes in increments of 50.
Okay, so
let me look at that. Yeah, it comes in 50 feet.
Okay, so he is from the minecart 60 feet away. So with Fern's coxing, he goes another 10 feet in and holds onto the rope.
I'll mage hand. Can I mage? Well, it's 30 feet.
It can only lift 10 pounds.
No, I want to mage hand the rope to me so that I have the rope and I can pull him if he falls.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Doesn't take a lot of effort to have the mage hand go out and grab the other end of the rope and bring it back to you, Otto.
Yep. And I'll make sure that I'm braced like against something that'll give me resistance if he's fat or something.
All right. So,
All right.
so what do I do? Do I tie it around my waist now and do you like pull me over?
Can you make that jump?
No.
Then yeah, wrap it around yourself. Put both your hands on it. Wrap it around your palms. Wrap it around your waist. There's a little more slack.
And the oar, you can get that back too?
One thing at a time. Your life first,
try
then
the
the
oar.
oar.
The oar means nothing if you're dead.
Ties the rope around his waist. Grabs on with both hands. And now what?
And now we pull you over. Try not to squirm.
Otto, give me
athletics checks.
Yep. Is anybody helping you?
I will
Otto?
assist.
Okay. Graham, Otto, both grab the rope. One of you two just give me athletics at advantage.
Okay, I'll do it. I got a 6. What do you got?
I've got a +4. Full goals.
Otto, you grab the rope and just kind of pull it, and the gnome, not really expecting it, just goes, "Ah!"
I can see Pippo like laughing because he's fucking gnome is flying.
As the gnome just gets pulled over.
Little covers his mouth.
And Otto and Graham just hand over hand just begin pulling the rope, and the gnome finds himself dragged up onto the ledge with you guys. Shaken, but alive.
We got a second rope. We can make this longer to see if we can get the oar.
Graham will set him on his feet, dust him off, and start looking at how they're gonna try to recover the cart.
Yeah,
Maybe what we can do.
And Fern.
And Fern.
And Fern. So that's hardly important, is it?
No, Miss New member of your party.
This is Burn after Fern fell to her death. And Borora,
Aurora.
their rainbow chihuahua.
Nice.
Honestly, it's just gonna be Rami after he gets turned into a pug.
No. It's like the Franz Kafka cockroach story.
Like,
So we have multiple ropes. We could probably tie them
yeah.
around the cart to stabilize it so it doesn't list to one side or the other when we're pulling it. And then we could do like a pull from both sides and just like haul it up that way.
So,
So we would need like 4 ropes.
how much is in an adventures pack? Because I did have one. I just never opened it.
50 feet?
No, how many are in a pack?
Oh, single rope. Single
Yeah, just
coil
one
of
length
50.
rope.
2. Who else has a rope? Let me see.
Auto
I
for
thought
the
Rami
first.
had rope. Let me check Rami's thing because I would remember this, but I'm not 100% sure if he still has it.
Otto, for the very first time, opens his adventure pack. He finds the sandwich that was packed for him months old.
Ugh.
I'll hand it over to Kaido. Here. Hold up.
She just eats it like Homer eats the eternal sub.
All
I
right,
was
so,
thinking more like how Homer as King Kong eats Smithers.
All right, so my rope, the rope that we have out right now, and the one that Rami has or Kaido has is 3 ropes. So we need one more.
Yeah. At least if we're doing it this way. Do we? Does Fiffle have a rope?
I thought he did.
Yeah, I have a pack that has standard stuff, including a rope, I assume. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And which 2 is rotted?
So
Burglar's
Burn is
pack.
by the mine cart. We throw / magic the ropes closer. Fern ties one to each side of the minecart, one on one corner, one on the other corner on both sides. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we just kind of pull it up, and that way it stays stable, so it doesn't tip over and all the stuff falls out. And then we can lift it out with a team lift between 4 people and 4 ropes.
Yep. All right. Let's do. So I guess let's do this.
Okay.
So I have to get back first before.
We
I'll tie the things.
we can mage hand the ropes to you.
Yeah.
We can get halfway back.
Okay.
I have a rabbit hop. Could I use that to get over the 10-foot?
What does Rabbit Hop let you do
Mostly-
exactly?
Hop.
Well, what does it do specifically? I
Bonus action. You can jump a number of feet equal to 5 times your proficiency bonus.
yeah, it should be. I think your proficiency bonus is what, 3? So you should be able to
Yep.
jump 15 feet,
Yes.
and you can use it a number of times. Wow, that's impressive. Yes,
That's
Fern, you
actually
easily
useful
have
here.
the ability to jump across.
Hop along, rabbit.
Okay, so I'll tie the ropes to the minecart, and then
Yes. So I will mage.
Head back
Oh,
and jump
you don't
over.
have to use it yet. I will mage hand 1 rope to you. You can
Mhm.
tie that rope together and put that one in the minecart.
yeah.
Then Graham will send you, I guess, 2 ropes.
Yeah.
Then you'll tie it on the other side of the minecart.
Mhm.
Then you bunny hop over.
Yes. Yeah, so I've tied the minecart, and then I head back, bunny hop over
Yeah.
the
So let's.
Okay.
10-foot hole.
Fern, as you approach the minecart to tie the first rope on, putting your weight onto it, the bridge begins to sag in a bit, but it does not fall.
Okay.
You were able to successfully tie the rope to one side of the cart.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now you have the second side of the cart,
Mm.
which is
Could you stay in the cart and we just pull you up that way?
Maybe.
That sounds dangerous.
It does.
Yeah, true.
Fern, looking inside, you can see a number of ore that has been loaded into the cart.
Mhm.
Looks pretty full, right to the brim.
Ah. choices.
They're metal. They're metal gnomes.
Vern, you go to tie the second side of the cart with rope.
Yes.
Okay.
Hmm.
As you approach to tie that rope, the cart remains still. The bridge sags no more, and you're able to successfully tie the rope to that edge as well.
Okay, that's done.
Nice work.
I assume Graham and I are both ready.
Yep.
Do you want to let her get back?
Whatever Fern wants to do. She's in the fire on this one, so.
Yeah, I'll use the first rope that I had tied to there to like guide myself back safely towards the 10-foot hole
Okay.
in the bridge, and then rabbit hop across it.
Fern, you crouch and jump across, land on the other side of the bridge, and
I knew this.
feel the bridge begin to collapse underneath you. Please make a deck save.
Nice.
Using your momentum, you're able to flee along the bridge, escaping it as it collapses behind you.
All right.
Back to the rest of the party on solid stone ground.
Whew. Nice work.
Roy is very excited.
I was waiting for the impact roll. I knew it was going to happen.
I know.
Work.
Woof.
Ready to pull?
Yep.
Okay.
Anybody else going to help us on each side?
Yeah, I can help.
Yeah, Graham will relay instructions back to the gnomes to start pulling up on their end as well.
They all grab on. All right, go ahead. Otto, Graham, give me a strength or an athletics check. One of you at advantage.
I'll assist Otto.
All right. Only I was like, why does my wisdom minus when I was in Kaido's sheet?
It's infectious.
What kind of strength?
Athletics, yep.
With advantage.
Kaido is in no real shape to.
Can I get halfling's luck on the first one?
If Fiffle desires it.
You
If,
may have the luck of the halfling.
Okay, give me one more roll. All right, cool. Otto, you go to pull, and the cart does not budge. When the gnome said that there were several hundred pounds of ore in there, he undersold it a bit.
All right. I'll tell Graham to hold up so we don't tip it.
All right.
Let me readjust myself.
It's okay. Maybe it's more like 400 or 500 pounds.
Now that I have an expectation that's realistic, can I try again at advantage?
Go ahead. All right, Otto. With Graham's help, and on the other side. So where before 500 pounds is quite a bit, split between multiple different people, you're able to successfully pull the cart back onto a more sturdy section of the bridge.
And that's why, gentlemen and lady rabbit, you don't skip leg day. And I'm going to fall out on my back.
Your arms very sore.
My legs, my quads, my hamstring.
My hammies.
The other gnomes on the other side, you see them kind of scramble, and they eventually put together these wooden poles, thin wooden poles, very flexible, but they manage to kind of stick them on each other and kind of screw into place, and then they more and more until they eventually get the poles together, and then they put them across, and it goes the entire length of the chasm. And then they take these wooden planks that they have, and they kind of put them on. You hear quickly hammer every foot or so until they eventually have a makeshift bridge that can support their weight at least. You do see it kind of bending in a bit as they go across, but they are able to get to the side there. They start talking to you in some unknown language. the gnome that you saved, talks to them, and then they switch over to common. Oh, thanks for the help. Saved our friends and the ore, which is going to save the village. But
Well, glad we came along when we did. Y'all all right?
this could be. I mean, ore ain't tipping. I hope we can get the bridge repaired, and then we'll get the ore back. Bit of a delay, but it's better than losing the whole dang thing.
Yeah. You live near here?
About. We got a little village. Deep Gnome's about by here. And then we mine. We're miners. We mine the iron ore and we trade it to the cities nearby. Lucky came. Gotta say, I don't think I've ever seen any folk like you before.
Yeah, we're from up topside.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, I hardly get any people from there. Yeah, unless they came with the raiding parties.
Raiding parties? People raid you?
No, well, yeah, but no. The drow raid up above.
Yeah, they raid us.
And yeah, the drow do raid us, but we pay them off, so they don't.
Speaking of raiding, you know anything about the? I always forget his name. I keep wanting to say the Tanner.
The Shaper?
The Shaper?
Oh, yeah. Bad news, then. Or them, or... We don't really know much about them. We think... Could be person, people, thing. But, yeah, you grab them. Grab anybody. You'll buy up slaves by the bundle, and they'll... you won't see them again. Or if you do, they ain't, how they were before.
Any idea what he's after?
Go ahead and tell you. I say ask him, but I wouldn't recommend it.
He happened to be up to anything around these parts?
Besides buying slaves, raiding small villages. That's about it. Could be up to something crazy. Probably is, honestly, but I mean, the drow in the cities there, he pays them quite good for slaves, so they're happy.
I see.
I mean, he does a lot of business with the various cities. Why you after him anyway? He buys someone you love?
He's caused a good bit of trouble for a good few people, and
That's for sure.
we're here to politely ask him to stop.
Well, I'd recommend you kill him, but yeah, you can try polite.
Yeah, that's usually how these things go.
I like the way he thinks. The killing part, not the polite part.
That's usually how these things shake out.
So it's the same thing to me.
You folks happen to be near where you were bringing this ore?
We're bringing the ore down to our village. He looks over to the bridge they made. Try and cross it, but
There any other ways atwixt?
he looks to the bridge that fell in. No, not really.
Try and cross it, Graham.
Might be able to fix it, but it'll take us a minute.
We got work teams that'll come by. Might take them a bit of time to get there, but I mean, there's the city nearby if you're willing to go there.
Yeah, might just be. Whereabouts?
You have a map?
I do. Actually, a matter of fact, maybe you could help us translate it.
Yeah, you can take a look.
Graham finishes them off.
Before we forget, you did us a good, so we'll do you one. He reaches into his pouch and he pulls out like a little leather bag. There you go.
Thank you kindly.
That's 16 gold and a handful of gems we found mining.
Thanks.
Graham will take that for now, and I've added it to my sheet.
There you go.
Thank you much.
Now for your map, you got it on you?
Graham will produce the map.
Takes a look. Okay, yeah, it's one of them, the trade and travel maps. Cities don't like one another so much, but not enough they ain't gonna trade. Plus, not like these things are real secret, considering, they don't not like cities move much. Alright, let's see here. Okay, so you're heading to the nearest city of Mithelgroth.
Miso broth.
Mithelgroth.
Methelgroth. Right, what did I say? Never mind.
Something about broth?
Do I look like I know what a JPEG is?
Yes.
Let's see. That's so the drow there speak Undercommon. That's a city of shadows.
City of Shadows. They they liable to be hostile to us?
Well, they'll deal with outsiders if that's what you're wondering.
But they're not gonna go for their weapons on sight.
As long as you mind your manners. Oh, and stay away from any gangs of young blades, of course.
Young blades?
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at Kaido, who's still like batshit drunk. Cause like I think we might be okay as long as he's drunk.
Kaido vomits a little. All over Charlie.
I don't know. Oh, and I don't even have prestidigitation to clean him. Poor Charlie.
Doesn't deserve this.
But no, when we go there, we normally go and deal with like the foreign quarter, but it's a big city, so you can find a lot of stuff there. Good trading, plenty of grub worms if you're hungry.
Worms, you say?
Oh yeah, grub worms. The little pale things. You get like a nice bowl of them. Maybe cook them a bit, but I like them raw myself because then you cook out all the flavor otherwise.
Right.
I see.
Of course.
How well you've managed this situation. Well, don't piss on any of the noble houses there, and you'll be fine.
And I assume we should keep our errand with the Shaper to ourselves.
I guess that one's up to you.
Well, it sounds like if they're doing business with him, it'd behoove us to not mention that.
Yeah. I mean, it's the Underdark. Bad things happen every day. Yeah, you kind of have to, get used to, losing everything.
You're just like me, for real.
So, I mean, I ain't gonna tell you how to live your life. But yeah.
I guess we'll head down that way.
Well, you take care. Okay? Stay safe, friends. It's crazy out that way, but yeah. They'll pay good. They pay good for iron.
That's good to know.
And they'll pay good for mithril
Interesting.
if you can find any. They'll sell it for a decent margin. Well, anyway, we're gonna head back to our village. Time's wasting. All right, you take care.
You too.
See you later.
The gnomes kind of just make their way back across the bridge and disappear down one of the side tunnels.
Well, all right. Suppose we can pat ourselves on the back and be on our way. Nice work, everybody.
You too, Kaido.
Correct.
All right, you head back to the road.
I think so.
Okay. Well, it's not like that tunnel was very long. You managed to get back to the road with your very little issue. The road itself continues to stretch on as far as you can see.
Keep on keeping on.
All right. You travel along the road. It remains mostly empty until you cross about 2-3 hours of travel. Eventually, the road starts to connect with another road and then another, and you begin to see more people on the actual path itself heading in the same direction. You see a number of different creatures. You see goblins, kobolds, dragging along these large, just string of carriages put together, being dragged by these big lizards. You see orcs decked out in armor, weapons, a number of creatures you haven't ever seen before, as well as a couple you have. The kind of spider-legged, eel-shaped creatures that had originally kidnapped Kaido.
Good thing he's out for this one.
You see several dozen. No one really pays you too much attention. You do see a couple of the people in these groups kind of staring at you, but none of them make any moves towards you or act aggressive beyond just kind of staring you down.
Well,
Eventually... Oh, I'm sorry, were you saying something?
nah.
Okay. Eventually, the road begins to kind of head a little bit, and it begins to slope down, and as you step forward, you notice that it begins to like kind of slope down into a kind of lower plain area, and in the distance, probably a good half mile ahead of you, you see a large city. It stretches out past where you can see. It looks like you see a number of structures, low wooden structures built along the edge that just takes up the vast majority. Surrounded by that, you see a number of small lakes, ponds, and streams, as well as a lot of farmland, growing some strange kind of pale grain, you suspect, that you've never seen before. Within the city, like further on beyond that, you see large dark walls surrounding this main city with these pillars that are just jutting out from the city itself up and holding up the actual ceiling of the cavern that you're in right now, as you're in this just massive open bubble of cave.
Well, good. Oh, excuse me.
All right. So yes, the groups that are traveling along these roads here continue on. They don't really care where that you seem to have stopped and are looking over the city. You continue on, I'm assuming?
Yep.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you continue on, making your way through the last half mile. You travel down this somewhat shallow slope that brings you down, 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 until you eventually reach the road that leads into the city itself. There are a number of people outside the roads heading in, and you do see a dark elf man. He has gray skin, white hair slicked back, wearing a small amount of what looks to be padded armor. On top, he has a cloak that looks like it's probably made with spider silk. Next to him, you see a number of people. It's a mix of goblins, orcs, as well as dwarves and a couple humans. They're wearing tattered clothes. Each one of them has been locked up with iron bands along their wrists and on their neck. You just hear him kind of shouting in this unknown language, switching between another. Vern, you actually do hear a shout in Goblin. Slaves for sale. Slaves being bought.
I'll tell everyone what they're saying.
We're a little too close to the city to cause a ruckus right now, I think.
He kind of sees you talking amongst yourselves. Ah, you there. Would you care to buy any slaves? Sell anything? We're purchasing your that that one on the creature's back there. Is it for sale?
Nah, this one's a lemon.
Ah, it's a shame. My slaves are of the highest quality. If you would like to do business, please. I have so much. Any farms that need workers? Houses that need cleaners? Just something to hunt for sport?
I mean, I can think of all kinds of stuff. What do you sell them for?
Oh, well, my slaves are the highest quality. I could part with them for no less than 20 gold a head.
20, huh?
Fipple, you don't see them. They
Pibble.
are
Pibble spits out his coffee.
thin. You can see their ribs. Most of them have lesions on their arms and legs. You hear of them coughing amongst themselves.
Yeah. Guys, I don't think we should buy any of these slaves.
Oh, yeah? Word? Well, that's something to keep in mind. Maybe we'll pinch our pennies and mumble, mumble, mumble.
Nothing? I can't offer even a single one? The guide in the city, perhaps? You seem like you're newcomers. Everyone needs a guide. Goblin, I could offer. Orc, if you want some bodyguard. Dwarf for miners.
Are we still in the? Where did we encounter this guy?
You're outside the city. Right now you can see yourself right at the edge of this shoved together mass of wooden shacks.
This is where the gnomes live.
This is not the village. This is not the village of the gnomes you have saved earlier.
Oh, this is a different village. Okay.
Yeah, this is a big drow trade hub.
Right. Okay. I was trying to remember that was before or after the gnomes. Okay. So just murdering this guy wouldn't go over well. He's allowed to be selling slaves here.
Yeah, I think we would cause ourselves some trouble. But the way I hear it, there's kind of a run on slaves. Wouldn't yours have been snapped up by that Shaper feller?
Oh, I don't do business with the Shaper. He's more external. I prefer more local trade. One of the people entering the city that you had been like encountered on the road, tall orc man, just kind of, yeah.
Sound funny to you?
Take a look at the slaves he's selling there, friend. Do they look like they're in good shape? A stiff breeze and they'll fall over.
I wasn't gonna say it, but
he just kind of shouts to the drow man selling the slaves in a harsh tongue that you're unable to make out.
Your slaves are bad and you should feel bad.
The drow man responds in kind, and the orc just kind of passes through with the rest of his party.
I'll tell you what, we'll on our way back through here, maybe we'll circle back around.
Well, don't be a stranger, friend, but remember, my slaves are going quickly. These are the last lot I have for the time being. You wouldn't want to lose out, would you? I'll be selling them for so much. And I'm offering you quite a good deal. I must say, I really very rarely sell them for such a low price, but you have such a good face.
Well, thank you.
I'm laughing
Drive a
inside.
hard bargain.
Could we like accidentally murder him?
I'm sure.
Unfortunately, we're right on a trade road.
Started somehow.
You know what we could do? The only way I think this might work is maybe we could like stage a "Hey, you ripped me off" altercation, and then just kill him and make it look like a business dispute.
Hmm. Good work. I don't know drow rules for business disputes in Deadly Force, but
It is the Underdark.
it is the Underdark. So it's probably fine.
Be funny as hell. We're like, we just have a sidebar right in front of him to discuss how we're gonna get away with murdering him. And he's like,
I assume you're communicating in common, which he can't speak.
probably
That
like
helps. That helps.
a
I think
quiet
we're just
puddle
meaning at this
aside.
point.
Well, my sense of moral duty is flimsy at best. So if you feel like this guy needs murdering, though, I'm on board. Mostly, he offends me by his high prices and low quality merchandise.
But how does Sathara look in the middle of all this? Does she look like she's
Sothara is attempting to remain stone-faced.
Yeah,
Is
that's
she succeeding?
It doesn't. Well, let's find out. Also, it doesn't take. I'm not going to make you guys do a Nope, she's not doing a great job. It doesn't take a history roll to know that on the surface, slavery is illegal within Viderheim.
no way.
Just poking around in the underdarks.
I can't believe it's illegal.
I mean, if you would like to make it, yeah, Graham, make a history check,
Sure.
or whoever's proficient in it.
I am proficient. Nice.
Graham, you know enough. Yeah, not only is slavery illegal in Viderheim, at least on the overworld, but it's illegal because of the mass slavery that the Arwellan Empire engaged in. So it's not only, to them ethically wrong, it also has very strong cultural connotations of slavery.
So not a big fan.
No, not particularly.
Grammel, during their powwow, kind of muttered to her, "You reckon you see a way we can get these folks out of here?"
You can knock them out, maybe, or maybe a distraction, and then they run away. But I mean, where are they gonna?
I got an idea. Fiffle, you're on larceny duty. Graham is gonna produce that pouch that the gnomes gave us with the handful of gems and the gold, and we'll be like, "All right."
So I don't know how you plan to save them because they're just gonna starve to death or die to like the local wildlife.
I can get them food. I can magic up food and water. Graham is gonna turn back to the drow and produce that bag and say, "All right, now no bullshit." Actually, how are we communicating with him if we're sidebarring in common?
As he's unable to speak common,
Are we going to like
Trader's
turn?
sign.
he is cycling through the few languages he knows, going from starting in Undercommon, switching over to Elvish, switching over to Goblin until he can get a response.
Elvish or Goblin then? Was Arwellan Elvish, or was that completely discrete?
Old Arwellan is a separate language.
Okay. Basically, my thought here, this is out of character for the team, is Graham goes to pay him and just kind of gives him the hard sell of like, "Look, you and I both know your slaves are emaciated, starving, and barely worth their time. I'm going to have to pay a lot of money and resources to get them healthy enough to do anything for me. Here's what they're worth, take it or leave it." And then have Fiffle just fucking steal it back after we leave.
Yeah. What a great plan.
Of course, then we have a bunch of slaves we got to take care of.
No, we just turn them loose as soon as possible.
You're on your own, fuckers.
There's a group of
They're
about.
gonna die no matter what you do. Let's be honest here.
I mean, I can magically feed them, so they're not going to starve immediately.
There's a group of
You
about.
can give them a new start. We
You just die to the wildlife instead.
heal their immediate wounds, give them some magic food, and say, "Shoot, get out of here." Harry and the Hendersons themselves.
So how many were there, Ian?
15.
15, huh?
We'll give him 20 gold for the lot. And he should be grateful for us taking his dying slaves off his hands.
As it happens, that'll work out nicely. Yeah, Graham will attempt to hard sell, either through a proxy or directly if they have a common language.
What languages do you speak, Ram?
That's the annoying thing. For whatever reason, it's not on my sheet. I gotta fix that between sessions.
Okay. So yeah, he cycles. He starts with Undercommon. He cycles to Elvish, to Goblin. He cycles to.
I've got Elvish and Goblin, so I mean I could
Oh, okay.
translate.
Yeah, let's broker through Fern.
Okay. Fern, acting as an intermediary between Graham and this drow. It's going to be a harder difficulty check as it is going through an intermediary. But so Graham, go ahead and give me a persuasion roll, and just expect it to be a harder DC.
Oh, that's not good.
Just you see your Fern. You hear an Elvish from the man. For the lot, 20. I will give, let's say, 30 gold for the lot. That's a good price, wouldn't you say?
All right, fine.
I'll
So,
translate that.
I will. I will actually just pay him 30 gold directly and keep the pouch.
He takes the money, and you see him just kind of put it into his pocket, a little leather pouch there, and he just, they're yours.
Observe his pouch.
Well, congratulations. You have yourself a fine working force. Anyway, that other trade is done, and I have sold my lot for the day. I will bid you farewell. And he just kind of does a flourish, and he turns and he starts to head towards the city.
As he flourishes and turns, I wish to rob him of
blind.
everything he has. Yes.
Fiffle, please make a sleight of hand check.
Gladly.
Nice.
Okay. All right. Fiffle, you are able to then grab the pouch that he placed the 30 gold in, and it looks to be the only money he has, so you only get 30 gold from him, but...
We get it back?
Mm-hmm.
Sick.
Good enough.
Nice. If you want to hold on to it, that's fine. Otherwise,
I'll give it back to Graham.
Nice.
You can go back in the pile.
All right. Graham will, if there's like a place to pull the slaves aside off the path, he will cast food and water and feed them. As it happens, it can feed 15 people.
The majority of slaves aren't able to really talk with you. The few humans and dwarves do speak common. Like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Kind of coughs up. We were dragged from our village up above, and we've been sitting in a pen for the past week.
Yeah, the Underdark sucks. Good luck.
Do you know how to get back to the surface?
Nope. Or wait, do we? I don't think we do. We're pretty lost down here.
If they get to the mushrooms could probably guide them out like they were going to do for us.
How do
That's
we...
true. The mushrooms are friendly. And worst case, they end up just like living in mushroom land, which isn't so bad.
Matt's power just blipped.
Oh no!
He gave his all for those slaves.
As we await his return, we could give him directions back to the mushrooms. They're relatively friendly. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, are these the same slaves that were maybe in the pen with Kaido like a week back?
No, you had saved all of them.
Okay, I don't remember this.
Yeah, no, they were
back, but it was really like 5 real life months.
Yeah, they those ones there were like recently grabbed, and these people have been down here for a bit of time.
Okay.
How do we get to the mushroom village you're talking about?
Can we show them the map that we have
Sure.
and kind of like
You show them the
them
map. They look at it. I can't make heads or tails of this. I mean, this looks like a road system for the Underdark here, but I don't see how that will lead back to the village you're talking about.
Like, can we show them the route that we took to
The
on
route
map,
you
or-
took is not on the map.
Oh.
This map is specifically a road and trade network of the various cities in the Underdark, and does not show. Like, you can see the X on it from the trade post you arrived at, but the actual path that that Rolar took you through is not on this map in any way, shape, or form.
Could I give them directions verbally for that part?
Okay, Fern, give me a survival.
I will attempt to assist her in describing the way we came. I don't know if she can.
Survival.
Does she get an advantage with that?
Yeah, you could. I'll say you can get advantage on that one. Okay.
Because we'll warn them not to listen to the thing that might be in the temple.
Yeah.
I will try and get to there as best you said. Well, either way, you at least gave us a fighting chance, so thank you. We've been down here 2, 3 months. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, just ask to talk to Big Fungus and tell him that the Crossblade sent you. Big Fungus knew that we were the Crossblades, right? Did we tell him that?
Yeah, we.
So yeah,
Okay.
Next one, we call him Big Fungus.
But if they are gonna shoot some spores at you to talk to you, don't be alarmed.
don't panic. It's fine.
Whatever you do, don't drink their alcohol, and then I'll point at Rami. It's really potent stuff.
We will remember this. Thank you. We'll try our best. If we don't make it, we at least have a chance now. But thank you. Bet. Sets off a coughing fit. But I assume you also removed like the actual shackles from these slaves.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean,
should we heal them? I can use the healing spirit. There's 15 of them though.
Sure, they could stand some healing.
I think they'd be fine. I
They'd be fine?
don't think they're damaged. They're just hungry. I don't know how that would work in terms of like health. Let's be honest. If a freaking thing hits them, they're dead.
Oh, and can everyone but Auto give me a Constitution save, please?
Oh dear.
They're sick.
And I will make one for Rami.
Did you? I'll make one for Rami.
I made one for Rami.
Okay. How bad was it?
I'm keeping this one a secret, so you can find out later on.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I don't care. That's even better. That's what he gets for visiting dear old mother.
All right. Auto and Graham. I'll have Matt make one when he gets back. Okay. All right. So you are release the slaves. You've given them directions. The orcs, goblins, they kind of like split off from the humans and dwarves. So you got about it's like 5 people left who just kind of make their way back the way they had come. Or the way that you came, I suppose, is the question. But all right. As is going on, more and more people are traveling down the road through these, like, really it's this kind of like the road is cutting through all these wooden shacks, and you can see it probably stretches a good 1,000 feet down before it eventually reaches a gate. The rest of it is basically just 1,000 feet of these wooden shacks. It looks to be ringing, from what you could see, the entirety of the city's exterior.
Hello.
Matt, you're back.
What did I miss?
Can you give me a con save, please?
Uh-oh. Yes.
Yeah, you know.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you've given directions to the slaves, release them, and are now just kind of sitting at the very edge of the mass of like shacks that have been hastily set up. I mean, the shacks themselves look to be made of a very cheap, kind of thin wood, similar to actually the wood that the gnomes had used to build their bridge. So it looks to be very flexible.
They've invented balsa wood that grows naturally.
I have actually named this wood, but yes.
Particle boardium.
All right. But yes, you have managed to successfully purchase and then steal back the money.
Nice.
Or purchase the slaves and steal back the money.
Yeah. So, I'm assuming you caught it. I fed them with create food and water
Yep.
before.
Yeah,
whatever happened.
they grabbed like they basically rather quickly ate the food, but they then continued on.
Okay. That works for me.
All right.
Good job, hero of the people.
Well, one tries. They and we aren't out of the woods yet, but let's get to going.
All right. You're continuing on towards the city interior.
I think so. Unless anybody else had anything. Jesus.
Okay. As you continue traveling along the road, you enter into like the road itself does slice nicely through all of the shacks here. Um, the shacks themselves look to be some like rather hastily put together and of varying quality of build. The majority of them are one story, with the occasional two stories just kind of shoved on top. As you continue on, you do see a number of these tall stone towers that are ringed by like small walls of about 5 feet tall, lined with spikes. And the towers themselves, you see drow that are armed with crossbows that are just looking over all of these various like shacks. In the shacks themselves, mostly empty at this time of day, but you do see the occasional, looks to be goblins, kobolds, a lot of orcs. They all seem to be dressed in kind of thin or worn clothing. Each of them that is inside has an iron collar around their neck. As you continue going on, you hear a bit of a shout, and you sense like in the air you can smell smoke.
Let's
What do you think?
let's mosey that away.
All right. As you're heading towards the smoke.
Yep.
Okay. Make a perception check to try and follow it. All right. Graham, you're able to quickly spot the smoke that's rising from a bit of shack about 50 feet in. There is a small path that kind of twists and winds through these wooden shacks. As you approach, you can see that one of the shacks has ignited, and a number of sparks are flying off of it. A number of embers are coming off of the smoke, landing on other shacks, which are beginning to quickly ignite themselves.
Yeah.
The fire is
CMG
beginning to
Scout is on fire, guys.
quickly spread throughout the this area here.
Well, that ain't good.
A number of people living in this area, the slaves, are trying to just come in and put out the fire. You see them beating at the fire, but the shack that has ignited is quickly being consumed and is entirely on fire in just a few short moments. A few other cabins are also being engulfed with flames. More and more people are gathering around attempting to put it out.
Well, yeah. Does it look like it was deliberately set, and is anybody like slinking away from it?
Make a perception check. You don't see anybody slinking. You see a ton of people running. As for if it's deliberate or not, you're not sure.
Grandma's just gonna tell everybody to keep their eyes open, and
I'll keep my eyes open as well.
Fiffle, you don't really see anything.
I
Seems
will.
to be a totally natural fire.
I'll look around.
Okay. Otto,
I don't see nothing.
you just see people running from the fire. I mean, you see more people approaching, attempting to put out, not the shack that has ignited completely, but the few small fires that have begun to spread throughout the other shacks.
Can I also look around?
Yeah. Let's all
Nope.
Jesus.
We can't see anything.
Maybe Sathara saw something.
You know what? Just humor us, Ian. Roll for Rami.
Okay.
He's unconscious, but I just want to see what
Everyone
he can
looks
get.
around.
It's pretty bad for Rami. It's a
It's
zero.
a -1.
It's a zero for him with that negative one.
Okay, that checks.
He is dead unconscious at this point. He's just like on
Yeah, it was
Charlie,
more- it
just
was more of
coughing.
he was awake.
Sathara does look around and say, points to a small little, basically like a small clay like pot that has been cooking above a fire, and it looks like it had tipped over and struck into the ignited cabin.
Good eye. So, this got out of control pretty quick.
He looks around this whole place, looks like it's made of paper.
Yeah.
Anybody got any, magic water from the sky spells or anything?
Not really, unfortunately. I think
Where,
best we
where,
could do
where
is
are they?
help
Are
out.
they? I assume they're like bucket brigading, trying to put stuff out. Where are they getting water from?
Yep, you see the number of them like kind of like stringing together buckets and attempting to like throw this kind of like dark slimy water onto the few buildings that are catching.
I mean, is there a way we can
That's
like
for
divert
Hydro.
more water or something?
You could, well, I mean, you see like them working together to like do that. A number of them are going around striking out like the embers that land through the just hitting it with like whatever clothes or even just stepping on it. If
Whatever
you
works.
have any ideas, you could certainly attempt them.
Pretty dry on options, honestly. Dry.
Try.
I'm just checking to see if there's anything I'm not thinking of.
I could attempt to steal the fire from the fire.
Roll to Prometheus.
I'm sorry, Fiffle.
Maybe.
You roll too poor. You've been chained to a rock, and Eagle eats your liver every day.
And he
Blast.
was at fire to turn off.
This reminds me of high school. Yeah, aside from helping out, like the mundane way, I got nothing.
I mean, it's within your capacity to help out the mundane way if you desire.
All right.
Yeah.
Can just
Grab a
join in
bucket.
to try to. Say what?
We can all grab a bucket.
Yeah.
Okay. So you see from a small little, possibly a spring or maybe a well, but you do see that a number of buckets are being just hauled up as quickly as possible and being passed along to people, tossed onto like the fire. If you would like to join in, this is not difficult work. It's very monotonous, but it's definitely taking your time. A lot of people you notice are having trouble standing near the actual blaze itself before the heat kind of forces them to step away from it.
Oh yeah, do I know what that Constitution save was for, by the way?
No.
Okay. Instead of.
All right. So
Oh,
yeah,
you
number.
disconnected. Oh, you had your power blip. All you need to know is he said everyone but Otto. That's all you need to know.
Okay.
All right. So yeah,
It's
the
all
bucket
just
brigade
like
is able to get the buckets close to the blaze, but they're having trouble getting people who can approach it without having to be turned away from the fire.
All right. Let's try that.
Okay. You're approaching the fire itself. The heat is intense as you approach, as the building is just up in flames. More people are focusing on dumping out fire water on the smaller fires around.
All right.
All right.
Graham will attempt to get close and apply buckets to the worst of the fire.
Okay, Graham, you're able to. You stand in the front. People see you very well dressed for this area. They see you just approach. You grab a bucket and you start tossing on the fire. Very, very monotonous work. As you're feeling this, the heat is really getting to you, Graham. I would like you to make a Constitution save in this case. Despite the intense inferno, you are able to bear the heat.
Nice.
And sweat is on your brow. The soot is getting onto your skin. It's getting into your hair, but you're still putting it out. Like you're there 10 minutes dumping water. It is beginning to go out as it is consuming the majority of its fuel. Would you like to continue on the bucket brigade or do something else?
What do you guys think?
Everybody else is just watching Graham work
No,
very
I would've
hard.
helped. You know what? I would have.
It's a fucking
I would have
construction
helped
crew on the
Graham.
side of the road.
It was. I didn't want to interrupt you because you were describing it, so I didn't want to interrupt you. But I would have helped him.
Yeah, no, I assumed. Yeah, I was just being cheeky.
I was.
Otto, give me a Constitution save as well, please. Otto, the heat is beginning to get to you. You're going to begin to take 2 fire damage as the heat is really just really burning into you. But you are helping Graham to put the fire out. What's everyone else doing?
Roasting marshmallows, probably.
Yeah, sure. No, I'm just kidding. I helped with the fire too.
Okay. Fern, please make a Constitution save. Okay. The heat is very intense, but you are able to bear it. Not as well as Graham, but you're at least not getting hurt by it.
Graham looks like one of the a fireman pinup calendar entry.
Yeah, sorta.
Grimes up good kind of thing.
And is Fiffle doing anything?
He's pickpocketing.
He's just stealing from slaves. He's like, what little you have shall be mine.
No, I'm helping with buckets and the
Okay.
things.
All right, Fiffle, you're also by the fire then?
Yes.
Give me a con save, please.
I suppose.
Fiffle, you're fine. You and Graham are just like bucket bros, and you're able to like.
Fucking bros. I just love that.
A barbarian woman is biting her lower lip while watching Fiffle put out the fire.
Lovely. Yeah, you just.
Aurora is carrying us buckets of water.
Yeah, you just see like people like putting like buckets of water like in Aurora's mouth, and she just kind of runs it over.
Adorable.
Eventually, the shack that was engulfed has managed to burn down completely to just base with like the barest amount of like remaining charcoal just punching through, but the rest of the fire has not spread. What spread did occur has been quickly taken care of, and with your help, you were able to prevent more from catching. Eventually, you do see a number of armed people approaching. You see a drow man in armor with a spear and shield. He has two more drow behind him, similar, but his armor is fancier. He has like a kind of red crest made of what looks to be feathers on the brow of his helmet. He's also surrounded by what looks to be a number of goblins and kobolds. They don't have much in the way of armor, but their clothing is better than the slaves around here. They are holding whips and clubs and cudgels. You hear him shout in a kind of rough tone, and these slaves begin to disperse from the area. He begins to shout to you in the same rough tone. You believe it to be Undercommon?
We should probably disperse.
Yeah, unless he goes to prevent us,
Yep,
we
let's
should probably
disperse.
just amscray.
You amscray. He does not give chase. You see the goblin kind of strike the whip at a few of the slaves who are going a little slower. But
I wanted to amscray because that might have been maybe that guy like, hey, they stole my money back.
all right. Well, you amscray from the immediate area. Where are you all going now?
I don't know.
Let's follow the slaves. See if
Who are
they're
we
kind of...
saving now?
The slaves scatter in multiple different directions. Which ones would you like to follow?
Is there any group that's kind of, once they're out of eye and earshot of the drow, talking amongst themselves about it?
You see the majority beginning to head out of the area of shacks into the fields. You do see a number that are by a small stream that are talking amongst themselves, though. Yes.
Let's go see if we can say hello.
Looks to be primarily collection. Mostly looks like the deep gnomes, the ones you'd spoke, similar to the ones you've spoken to earlier, the same race. They are pulling up nets out of the stream, and you can see a number of these kind of like white wiggling blind cavefish that they're pulling out and just kind of dumping in buckets. They are speaking what you believe to be gnomish.
I don't know, Mish. Let me see. I don't think I do, but yes, I do know Mish.
All right.
Nice.
Otto, you hear them just kind of speaking. Ugh, another fire. It's like a kindling, living in kindling here.
I'll respond in Gnomish. Another fire. You say, how often does this happen?
They look to you shocked that you can actually speak their language. You see a fire every couple weeks.
It must be pretty horrifying
Huh?
living down here under the ground, having fires frequently.
Fiffle, do you speak Gnomish, or are you
No.
translating through Otto?
You're right. I'd be translating through Otto.
Okay, yeah.
Or responding to what Otto said to us
Yeah.
that they were saying.
Yeah, I'll like, yeah, I'll translate as you guys ever want. If you guys want to say anything.
Yep.
You should talk to the captain of the fire brigade. His name is Sir Triangle of Shirtwaist.
The gnomes speaking through Otto. It's like, yeah, the wood here catches quick. It grows quick, but it's the Camdazor wood.
And is all you say.
It grows so fast here. We harvest it. It's not good for much for building, so we make it. They let us have it for our shacks. But it catches like nothing else. It's not even good. This time, no. Fortunately. But we use you cook with a fire, but catches so easily. And a single stray ember will just set up a whole thing. You could actually lose half the district here if you're not careful.
What's this wood look like?
The wood, I mean, it's all around you. It looks to be this kind of like pale whitish wood. Looking at the construction of it, it looks sort of like it grows in these kind of shoots, these kind of squarish shoots that are then sliced and harvested. It's definitely thicker than like a palm leaf, you would say.
Is it like Underdark bamboo?
Yes, it's Underdark bamboo, Matthew.
Nice. Interesting. So, we're not from around here, as you could probably tell. You, got any, words of wisdom for somebody passing through, maybe looking to cause a little trouble?
Words of wisdom for anyone causing trouble: don't cause trouble. Stay out of the inner city. Stick to the foreign quarter if you ain't from around here.
Gotcha. Where's that, and, what is there to be wary of?
I've been out here my whole life, and I was born a slave and I'll die a slave, but I hear things. Foreign quarter or the outer city, you can travel there no problem. One of my friends here works in the inner city as a house slave, or at least he did. You need they don't allow outsiders, non-citizens in there unless you have a special permission to enter in. That's all I know, friend.
It's more than we had, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. What are you even doing here, if I don't mind me asking?
We're, asking after a gentleman called the Shaper.
Oh yeah, that's rough. I happened. Yeah, they've been fighting for slaves with the other cities, but you could sell a whole 100, 200 to them at a time, or them. I heard it's a big giant, is what I heard, who's been eating them all. And then, of course, I know another guy from across the sea who says that it's basically a group of wizards who've been turning them into gold.
I mean, that's horrific.
We
but-
find the Shaper's lair, and it's just one leprechaun. Bring the gold!
More gold.
It's a single kobold who just like.
Please don't tell anyone how I live.
Don't judge me.
It's a single kobold who's like freeing any slave you can find. We came down here for this.
That would be an interesting twist. Well, thank you much. Anything we can do for you fellers?
Yeah, free us if you can.
Yeah, well, hypothetically, if we wanted to do that, got any ideas?
I mean, there's a lot of slaves. I don't know how you'd actually go about freeing us all. You see those towers around? That's where the guards and the overseers stay. Every so often you got like a group who attempt to run, or everyone, like some individuals who attempt to run, but they don't get far. Once you get outside the city proper, you're prey for anything living out there. Or if they'll just send out the slave catchers to get you.
What do they got? What do they do to do their work?
They ride on these large wolf-flesh creatures. They got nets with barbs in them. They'll bring you back, and then they'll tie you to a whipping post and make an example of you in public.
Classic. So, do they only use that wood in the slave quarter?
Oh, this stuff? Well, we harvest it. It's primary used here, but they do take a bit of it in for whatever else they use. I couldn't tell you. I've never been into even the outer city.
Who, you got anything resembling leadership among the slaves? Somebody who speaks for all y'all?
Looks around. We thank you for helping us, but I'm not really familiar with y'all, so I'm gonna say no.
Fair enough. Well, suppose whoever it is found out that there was going to be a big fire of all that super flammable wood, and it would be a pretty prime opportunity for every slave to up and do a runner at once.
It's not a thought that we hasn't been considered, but the real problem is once the whole thing catches, you're then surrounded by fire.
So,
It's been considered.
What if the fire comes from the inside and makes its way out, so that you have to run out instead of in?
While this is going on, you see a group of drow marching through with their goblin servants. The deep gnome you've been talking to quickly shuts up, turns around, and continues pulling fish out of the river. The drow kind of scans around, making sure everyone is working.
Since we already stick out, Graham's not going to pretend to work. He's gonna try to look like he's looking at the slaves, like appraisingly. Unless we can duck somewhere to hide, but
The drow walks over, kind of just says something to you in like his harsh tone.
y'all speak common.
He looks at you, switches over to common. That we do, or... What are you doing here? This is the slave district. Why don't you head to the outer city outsider if you wish to do any business?
Might do. In my line of work, helps to get the lay of the land and see how things are really going on, especially after seeing that big old fire.
I wouldn't worry about it. Headed to the interior. This is no place for outsiders like yourself. These are the city slaves.
All right. Let's mosey.
Right, Cloud.
If you'd like, we could escort you to the outer city, to the foreign quarter, to ensure you arrive there safely, of course.
Out of character. That's where we were said we should go, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's that's the
Yeah,
way
we
we're
can-
heading. So if you happen to be going that way, come right along. Otherwise, we can take care of ourselves.
Very well, then. It's not wise to stay too long in the slave district if you don't have reason to do so.
Fair enough.
Very good.
Up we go.
Yeah, let's head towards the foreign quarter.
Okay. You're able to find the street that is cut through the these wooden buildings here that bring you to the actual outer city. It's a very easy demarcation. As you can see, there is a short, probably about 4-foot tall stone wall kind of surrounding it, separating the shacks from there. As you approach, you do see that the buildings past the stone wall are a lot nicer. They are made of what looks to be actual stone itself or brick. You notice a number are built with actual roofs that aren't just like wood piled onto each other. There's also, the people there are dressed much nicer. You see a mix of what look to be just heavily armed and armored orcs, dwarves that are of the gray-skinned dwarves you'd see earlier in that very first trading village you had gone to. A number of different people, as well as what looks to be servants dressed in somewhat nicer clothing. Around their necks, they wear silver shackles, silver collars and that aren't as tight as the ones you saw in the fields outside.
Hooray, slave status symbols.
Um, you also notice a number of people who seem to be kind of pitching wares, a number of tents, and a variety of any like merchant selling whatever you could hope for. It's a mix of looks to be mostly dwarves, orcs, the occasional drow. You do see a couple of humans here or there. What would you all like to do?
People watch for a bit while we look for some kind of. We probably don't need to stay here, but we can figure out what is here.
Okay.
I mean, unless you guys have ideas, I don't have anything specific in mind other than.
I do not have anything specific in mind. Anything? I don't know. Anything like any? Just looking around. Anything like offhand, like more, I guess, valuable than we would find in Baxwell, like product wise.
Oh, go ahead and make a perception check.
Of course. Perfect.
I mean, around you don't see anything particularly valuable. Of the vendors you do see, you see people with food, lots of food. Your closest merchant is selling, looks like these kind of weird underground, it's the skinned bodies of these like small creatures that you would look and think would be rabbit-esque. There's also a number of people selling fish, grubs that are kind of, you see them kind of just these massive baskets, these large like baskets about yay across that are just filled to the brim with like these white wiggling grubs that are being sold. See a couple of people selling cheap trinkets, but yeah.
I'm in need of either delicious grubs nor cheap trinkets. Well, maybe delicious grubs.
Are they ravenous? Yes, very. Ah, excellent.
You do notice there is a group of about 4 drow, mix even of 2 men, 2 women. They are armed with each 2 short swords and what looks to be these small crossbows. They kind of go around to the various people they see on the street, kind of just call to them. You see another group, very similar, approach, and you see them kind of shout at each other in undercommon, you would assume. It takes just a moment before the blades come out, and they begin to just hack at each other. One
How
group...
are people around this reacting?
You see people kind of give them a wide berth, but seem to mostly be ignoring it. Eventually, one group prospers over the other. 4 drow lay dead. 3 of the survivors of the winning group badly injured. 1 seems to only have a cut across the cheek. They patch themselves up as best they can and begin just looting the bodies and continue on their way.
Interesting. So it seems like law isn't around here. Not too much, anyway. Could be useful. You want to ask them what's good, or just kind of let them go about their business?
You know, you got me on that one.
Graham is going to look around for anybody who might have been watching this and just kind of ask him, so what was that about?
Graham, make a perception check.
I will make a perception check. Nice.
Yeah. Graham, you see more. Most people seem to have wanted to kind of ignore the fight itself. You do catch a tall woman, about 5'8", she is wearing a kind of dark armor. She has a book kind of like attached to like a chain on her waist. A cigarette is in her hand. But what's most striking about the woman is her skin is completely white. Her hair is white, her eyes are white. It looks like a marble statue that's come to life.
Interesting.
On her person, she has at her side a rapier, as well as a crossbow. And you can see her rather intently staring down the member of the group that has the cut on their cheek.
So, friend of yours?
She looks over to you. You speak common.
I do. What was that all about?
Young blades fighting. Same old, same old. Houseless drow looking to make a name for themselves and get adopted.
Ah,
Looks like we had a few losers who won't be seeing the inside of the city, but
this a commonplace thing around here?
happens. Just be glad they killed each other rather than anybody else. Normally they go around asking foreigners to fight, pretending to be insulted, and then cutting them apart.
Ah. So, if they're outside of the houses, are they outside of the law? Nobody seems all that fussed about them.
They ain't citizens, but wouldn't go around killing a drow in the city if I could.
Reasonable.
Besides, they might not have the law on their side, but if they come back with their friends, they form the little gangs together, and then the gangs form with other gangs, and then the noble houses can use them as disposable, non-deniable forces. Yeah. She takes a drag of her cigarette.
No wonder there's so many fires down here.
Smokers.
So what are you lot down doing here for?
Well, as it happens, there's a big name slaver we're trying to get a little info on.
And you happen to have a name on him, or no?
Well, I'm sure you've heard of the Shaper.
Oh yeah, who hasn't? He's a tough customer. It's my understanding.
Well, I'm gonna insight her.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, you get the feeling while you're inciting her, she's inciting you.
We're looking to escape for final transaction.
She is eyeing you up and down, trying to get a read on you as best she can.
Biffle winks at her.
She does not respond to your wink, Fiffle.
Damn.
My God.
Well, if you looking for somebody, I might be able to help. I run a detective agency.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Reckon you could find us a little more information about the Shaper?
Reckon you can pay for that information?
Depends on the caliber of what we can find out.
You really don't know how detective work works down here, do you? You pay me a set amount of money for every day I work for you, and then I give you the information, and you take it or leave it. I survive by my reputation, so if I bring you back crap information, I can be getting much more work, right?
Fair play.
I think she's saying she's a private eye.
Yep.
So I'll tell you what. Yeah, in the outer city here, getting a lot of justice, so I make sure that happens.
You got my attention.
She hands you a small little. It's actually made of the same wood as the housing that had just ignited earlier, but you can see has been printed on it a small map that shows where her business is located. in relation to the actual entrance to the foreign quarter, as well as it just says hastily scrawled detective agency in a few languages you don't understand, but you do see both written in Elvish, Goblin, and Orcish.
Graham will take the card. So, what's your name? Or what do you go by if not your name?
I'll tell you what. Why don't we come up with a deal first, and then you can know my name, right? Sorry, but you lot seem a bit suspicious, is all.
What?
That's suspicious.
That's crazy.
You just seem like, I don't know, you're up to something.
Might be. Well,
She takes out a small metal case, opens it up, pulls out another cigarette. She actually pulls out a second one and offers it to you, Graham.
Graham will take one.
She has a small apparatus. She just kind of squeezes and a fire ignites from it, which uses to light her cigarette, and passes it over to passes it over to you, Graham.
Graham will attempt to use the device.
It's producing a small flame that easily allows you to ignite your cigarette.
Graham will smoke. Starts taking necrotic damage from cancer.
Well,
I'm sure that was the other roll.
be careful of any young blades. Show them the proper respect if they can. Why don't you pick up some undercommon while you're down here? Or at least find somebody who can translate for you.
It's not a bad idea.
Anyway, in the meantime, you got my card. You know where to find me.
Take care.
Take care. She kind of just snaps it shut, turns around, and her skin begins to turn from the solid marble white to a gray. Her ears elongate until like this points. Her hair turns to a dark black, and she looks just like a drow, and disappears into a crowd of people.
That explains how she can private eye down here.
And with that, we will end it here, and we'll pick it up next week.
Nice.